the Nazis do. Guy's a menace. Alright, I guess we can just keep starting. We're having a conversation. I'm like, when do I start it? when do I start it? When do I start it? Let's start it. Start it from here, man. I'm like, when do I start? I'm never gonna have a starting spot. Then we're gonna talk for a whole 30 minutes, and then it's gonna be like, yo, alright, so that's what we're gonna talk about. So that's what we're gonna talk about. But like, so what are we talking about again? What are we talking about again? Yo, man, that's funny. All right, we started though, man.
Thank you, Mr. Hegan.
Love, man.
It's impromptu, but I think it works, man, because I think this is still relevant to continue conversations.
No, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, appreciate you for making some time out and shit. As you see, I'm in my lab working on the plan.
I see.
Because man, what? So we were on. We're on.
Yeah, we're on.
Love to you, man. AL-BEATZ, ALBYBEATZ, Rob Hegan. You already know the 80th.
Yeah, man.
Impromptu Wednesday Manuscript. Before we left off on politics and the whole inauguration, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
The inaugural balls.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man, these people.
And I basically talking about how it's all calculated, and we forgot to talk about how Elon Musk, his little salute, and what's been going around, how it was it a Nazi salute or not, and just So yeah, I barely believes it's all tactical. It's all like that. Definitely, it was a Nazi salute.
Yeah, for sure.
But you were about to put me on to his TikTok because I actually don't follow his TikTok, so I don't know his personal stuff. I just took it for what it was, and my view of that moment was just on that moment was right afterward when he goes like this. He grabbed his heart like, and then he put it out there. Yes, it was like this, but in context, he references his heart right afterwards. And I just thought it was, tasteless move, like, because I would wonder, like, is he too busy? Does he know that the narrative around him is, and is it around him or is it around them? And now he's with them, so maybe he didn't get that kind of information because they're not gonna be like, yeah, by the way, no one's gonna think that you're gonna do something stupid like that. But you're right, like. I really think it's all calculated.
Well, look, I mean, like I said, if you follow,
he is like a little kid, and he's like,
but he's not.
Shit up. I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna
man.
I think my heart. And it's like, oh, you fucking idiot.
I think it's because again, these guys are dealing with these are like, people dealing with a lot of money, billionaires. They grew up in privilege, so they grew up around books. They grew, these people didn't grow up without resources to learn language, to learn different things. I mean, he's not even from here. He's from South Africa. So this is, and I think some people have gotten away with being old and funny and memes, So I think now the thing is that he's memeified. Because again, if you look at the memes, a lot of his memes are not when he's doing this. A lot of the memes are when he's doing this. So we know it's powerful to fuck with someone's mind. So imagine me now making fun and making light of this image and making it light again and telling people this is not a big deal. I ain't shit. That ain't shit, right? When before it was like, no, like that's the devil, like that, keep that away. We're not going back to that lifestyle. We're not going back to that belief. Now it's gotten to like, haha, that's funny, right? Isn't this funny? Bro, this, you got kids across classrooms thinking this is funny and doing this in the middle of classrooms. You know what I'm saying? Like now. So that's something that I don't think any of us would have done it at high school or like in school, played around with being like, teacher, look. Maybe they would have done that at private school where there was more white kids and they could align themselves with those people, the Nazis. But now when you see Nazi salutes being thrown in a black classroom, what does a black kid know about a Nazi salute? And why does he think it's funny to throw a Nazi salute? But it's the memification of these very bad ideas, because if you make light of it, that's how I could get it to penetrate your mind, and now you minimize it. Once I get you to minimize it, now I can let it really do damage in the dark. So that's why I don't take it lightly that he joked around and did this, because that I think like that shouldn't even be a joke. Like it's one of those things where it's like, no, don't even memify this, because it's gonna downplay it. And when you downplay things, that's when they do real damage. Because then now it's like, it's not a big deal anymore. So meanwhile, they're gonna keep doing what they usually do in silence until it becomes a problem. I mean, I remember in college I took a Jewish studies course, which I had to for credits, but I ain't really. Anyway, but I will say out of that. There was a book that I kept it actually. It's a really small book, but it talks about like how the Holocaust was legalized. So it wasn't from one day to the next that folks were being sent to concentration camps. It was a process that happened over the years, which started with stripping small rights, making fun of Jewish people. Now you start separating Jewish people little by little. Now so that hate grew over time to the point where they were actually being shipped off to camps. Regular Germans, when they used to be pissed off at shit like that, because they used to get offended by the Jew jokes they used to hear, but they started stripping away their rights little by little by little to a point where Germans started to actually look at them like they were nobodies. And once they saw that they were nobodies, oh, okay, so now you could take them off to concentration camps. And now regular Germans who were protested, they'll be like, I'm not hearing nothing. Kind of like how we already look at homeless people now. We just walk right over a homeless person because it's been years of being desensitized to their plight. So now we walk over them, and now we don't have to do anything. It's okay. The system has done its job. It's denigrated homeless people to the point where we accept it. So now that's where I see Nazism going. It hasn't never died. When the war happened, right, and the Holocaust, Nazis searched escape. So they were famous and still like. Hitler's mans, they all didn't die. So they had to go somewhere, and they fled to countries. Some of them flew to Argentina. A lot of them flew here. And so what do you think? They just gave up Nazism? No, they ended up having children and then teaching it to their children and teaching their children how to be low-key about it. And then those children are now adults in our time who now learn from their parents, because Nazism didn't go away. Like people, and I think they wrote the history books that way to make us think it went away. They make us think Nazism is something that only existed in 1940, whatever, when the World War II was happening, the Holocaust. But no, they never stopped being them. Because they transferred to places. They didn't all die.
I believe you, but this just sounds crazy.
You feel me?
Though, don't
they didn't die.
Damn.
But it's part of that nasty history that, again, people. That's why people don't like engaging with it though, because it sounds so crazy. And nobody wants to keep up. But that's what I'm saying. But then when you don't keep up, shit happens. You could do this, and people will question, is this a Nazi salute? It is a Nazi salute. And I saw it on the news, definitely on the news. I found it interesting because when the news reports it, all you're doing is giving them clout. Bad publicity is good publicity. So I'm like, why is mainstream news talking about it? I don't like mainstream news talking about it because they're going to be disingenuous about the conversation. They're going to make it about, he's just a dumb guy. He didn't really know what he was doing. And no, he knows what he was doing. Like this, if we're saying billionaires are smart, why would he be so stupid to do such a thing knowing millions of people are watching and not have any intent behind it? Like, come on, these people are calculated. You wouldn't make billions without being calculated.
You know what I also found interesting was that there was a moment in that whole in that celebration there, in that event,
excuse me,
where, bless you, that there was like a bishop or something, and they had did you see that? They had like a message for Trump saying, have mercy on the immigrants and the LGBTQ plus. Like,
yeah,
did you see that?
Yeah.
That was circulating as well. I found that interesting.
Yeah.
It was very quiet in the room.
Because they were having a sermon. Yeah, it was during a sermon, and then you know how the pastor usually ends the mass with the sermon, personalizing it, and so I would like to get her name though, since you mentioned it. Actually, that was another thing that happened too. I'll tell you, it's like it's starting off strong, man. But what was her name? Let me see. I thought that was fascinating, but Bishop Marian Edgar. And it's crazy that they're using, that's a quick Google search. NPR and all these people was talking about like confronts Trump. Was that, like
No, it didn't feel
it
confrontational,
was
but it
definitely
definitely was
was it confrontational?
awkward for me. Like when I was watching, I was just, I don't think so. What do you think? I didn't think so. No.
I didn't find it confrontational. So it is interesting, look, like doing a quick Google search and then seeing the words that are being used, because I don't know, I wouldn't. I mean, again, and even the clips that I saw, I was like, there was nothing really
Which is so
confrontational
crazy,
about it.
right? Because
I
you're
don't think
asking
so.
for mercy. Why would you be confrontational asking for mercy? That makes no sense in real
You
context.
know,
Like
you're asking for mercy.
that goes against the message. Why would I be confrontational saying
Yeah.
have mercy on people? Have mercy on people.
You know.
Nah, I'm not. That was out of
Look,
it.
group of Catholics sent letter to Pope to consider removal of Buffalo Bishop.
Ah, that's crazy. Okay.
So it's like, and look, I just found it brave to even use the platform because I was big of her. She,
Yeah.
like, you knew the platform he stood on. You knew he was there, and she could
Yeah.
have chose the easy route and not said anything.
Yeah.
She
Made
just
it about her
let's
and
just all
whatever
pray for
church she's
those who
from.
need help. Let's all pray for those who need help.
Right. Cause I'm good. I'm here.
Or not even, or just just keep it simple. Like, let's just pray for those who need help. Amen. Like, right? Like, really play it safe. Like, I'ma just. And then when people ask me about it, I'll be like, well, yeah, I did say pray for those. You asked me to speak on the right. I said let's pray for those people who needed help.
You shouldn't have mentioned them at all.
Right. And now he's on the other end, like, you shouldn't have said anything at all. I think it's wild that this is happening, but I think it's my concern watching this so far unfold is that the pace in which things are seem to be shifting. Because I think, again, I think Trump is speaking to a certain demographic of people. In an interesting way, he's speaking to those who are fed up with the church. So it's a way to use his opportunity to be like, you see, that's why the church is bad. So now you're taking it out on the church for something that, again, because to me, it was just a human to human interaction. I'm not looking at it like this is Bishop so and so and this is so and so, but I can see how he speaks to people because they showed a clip of his reaction in the news that I caught, and he looking bored. They were concentrated on how like bored he looked, and maybe he was, but again, it's like making light of the place, right? Making light of the situation.
Yeah, he seemed to not have a kind of like, like a strong reaction to what she was saying. Like it was like, okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, and then he said it was
It wasn't like I
horrible.
will do that, and I will. Like you see,
They were asking him, and he said it was the worst sermon he's heard, I think, or something like that. He said it was like he called it like the worst thing he heard. He said it was yeah. He quickly look. He demands an apology right there. What it says, the Hill. He demands an apology, and that's the most recent one as of this morning.
I didn't know.
He demands an apology.
Damn, bro.
Look, he calls her remarks nasty and not smart.
Ooh.
She was nasty in tone and not compelling or smart, he said. She failed to mention the large number of legal immigrants. Yeah, he did a number, man. This guy, listen. These folks they're not out for mercy, bro. If Rome fell, United States is bound to fall, and we might be witnessing the fall right now because
may the odds ever be in your favor.
this is and the folks, again, to engage politically in this stuff is really to then look at the history of like what really happened here. I mean, I really do fear that things are shifting to a place of, I'm talking like stop and frisk levels. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about if you jaywalk, even though jaywalking, I believe, has been finally decriminalized, but like if you jaywalk, you're going to jail. Like, going back to like finding any reason to detain people. I mean, right now, what's up for what's at stake is and in danger is immigration rights. And I don't like this idea that he's even throwing out there the birthright, trying to remove birthright citizenship. I know folks are like, there's no way he's gonna do that, but like, just the fact that that's even being disgust is a problem to me. Like that, that is again. So back to the Nazi salute. It's not to me. It's like we shouldn't even play with that, man. We shouldn't even play with that. Don't even joke around. Don't even bring it up because now it becomes an idea that then could be fully realized. Because even if Trump doesn't get to do it, he might influence someone right now who's like, you know what? That does sound like a fucking great idea. We should do that. We should remove the birthright citizenships of anybody who wasn't born here. Which means you and I, Rob, will have to go back to where our parents' family came from.
Oh,
so your mom was born. Your mom was born.
Nah, but my mom was in Chicago though.
Oh, so you look. Yeah. What about your dad? What about your dad?
I never met him. I don't know.
Yeah, all right. Roberto Antonio. They bring your whole Junior.
Not hard to find. Let's find the dad.
Where was he born? Dominican Republic. Oh yeah, you're going with that guy right there. That guy Al. Yeah, you're going with him. Actually, with him. That's where you're going. You thought you were going to
my mother.
You thought you were going to Puerto Rico? You going?
My mother
because you're not. You were born of a parent that wasn't born here.
Come on. I'm half. Listen, they have to take my legs, nigga. Imagine.
All right.
Nah, I'm going.
I'm saying, man.
I go out there. Fuck that.
He said, I go to DR for the first time.
Me to an island,
forever.
Yeah, that's not. Fuck it.
Listen, but it sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. But that could be a possibility, I think, if we let it.
Say good riddance. Good riddance.
You know, folks are,
my Vince McMahon energy.
Yeah, man. No, it could get real nasty out here, man. It could get real nasty.
Fuck it. That's what US want to do to me. Good riddance.
Speaking of wrestling, actually, I came across the Maven Huffman channel. You remember Maven? The wrestler.
Damn, Tough Enough.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I'm sure he would love that you remember that too. That show. But yeah, I actually caught a couple interviews with him, man. I actually thought they weren't too bad. I like his concept. He interviews wrestlers, and his interviews are pretty cool. He got a couple of them that I didn't expect. He did one with The Undertaker on his first Hell in the Cell match with Shawn Michaels. Nice. The one that got me was he did a reaction video with Devon Dudley on the WWE most racist moments. And they discussed, like, you know, in some parts he kept it real. Like, you know, if that was me right there, I would have wanted to say something. But real talk, like, I knew this guy cuts my check, and I probably wouldn't have said nothing back then either. Like, you know, but they were reacting to like old, like that Attitude Era stuff. That was pretty cool. And then I like the one he did with Spike Dudley as well. That was cool to see because I was like, man, Spike don't get a lot of love, but that was a cool one too.
Yeah, wow. I wonder what Spike looked like. I have to check that out.
Not too bad, man. It made me feel.
What
for
was
him,
that on?
Maven's channel, man. His check that out, y'all. YouTube, yeah, he got his YouTube channel. It's actually pretty popping, really. Like I'm like, God. It's actually pretty, like, man's up, you know what I'm saying? Definitely, yeah, check it out, especially if you're a wrestling fan. I think that's a good one. It certainly made me, you know, a fan again. It took me back. But I like that channel. I like that was, so it was funny that you mentioned had a wrestling reference, because wrestling was also something that was on my radar these past few days.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
I think
No, listen, man. This stuff is gonna get crazy. It's gonna get crazier. And again, that's just my fear. How crazy it's gonna get.
Yeah. Yeah. I just. Hold on, let me find Maven's channel first. Well, at least I know where. Yeah, never mind. Yo, guy, I do want to mention this. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if the NYC's domestic violence hotline gets a new name and chat feature.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's saying that New York is expanding its domestic violence hotline to include new features aimed at providing more help and information to victims. The mayor's office to end domestic and gender-based violence, said the hotline, which is now called 24-hour Hope Hotline. 24-hour Hope Hotline will soon include a new chat feature that will allow language translation. This feature will become available starting February during certain hours. The chat feature will be available Monday through Friday
Not bad,
between
not bad.
10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Yeah. So it's now called 24-hour Hope Hotline. NYC's hotline 1-800-621-HOPE. 1-800-621-HOPE. Man, I wanted to throw that in there as I was looking for stuff. I was like, you know what? I don't really always look at like what's the recent local news. And I was like, look, bro, it's actually literally 5 hours ago. I was just said.
Man. That's actually pretty good in light of next month is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, man. So that is also still an issue. Dating violence in general, domestic violence has not stopped being an issue. As a matter of fact, quietly or maybe not so quietly, folks are going through it personally, but it's actually been on the rise since COVID, man. COVID brought there was a steady decline in numbers, but then COVID hit and those numbers shot right back up as many families were forced and people who were abused were forced to stay with their partners due to COVID and stuff got worse.
And during COVID, sheesh. Our finances were shot to shit too. Oh my god. And that doesn't surprise me, you know.
Yeah. It's bad out here, man. It's bad out here, Rob. I think, but we could, I think there's also goodness to come of this because I think I was listening to our most recent live from Monday, and I do want to give a shout out to something you were saying about like, this can seem overwhelming, but like there still is a fight. Like sometimes we do worry about the little things, the small things, and again, this even starting with the Nazi salute could be a distraction, right? To like, let's talk about this because there's still more work to do. And the work lies always on the people and the people who need most and the people who need help. There's enough to go around, and there's enough people in need that we could let this stuff get to us. I do think it's important though that if for folks who are paying attention and are having conversations about the stuff that they at least do get informed. If you are going to talk about these rallies and stuff that is being said at these rallies and who these people represent, I think it is important to be informed though, because again, I do think that the job of the machine is to always keep us misinformed, confused, dazed, and not having the right information. So
uninterested.
Yeah, if we just listen to folks who are behind these machines, like these billionaires, then we're gonna fall for the trap. It's hard for me to humanize someone like them because what they stand for, really, and a lot of them stand for plunder. Billionaire makes their money by what, bro? Plundering and like always cutting out the middleman and cutting corners and no one gets to $1 billion safely or like ethically, if you will. That's a ridiculous number. I mean, most people don't get really rich without doing some really fucked
we
up
know
things.
How they did it
or stepping on people. But even some of their stories, gets tainted. A lot of these guys get credit for stuff that they didn't create on their own, and really the stuff that they just put money behind, that doesn't make you any special, man. That doesn't really make you any special for what you just create. But that is the issue though, man, that I think we're gonna also, now that like the stuff with TikTok, I think we're gonna continue facing misinformation. That's why they're going so hard to remove certain barriers. That's why Elon Musk, when he bought Twitter, and the first thing he started doing was really stripping away a lot of the privacy features. I really do hate the fact that he took out the ability to block somebody on Twitter, and I think he did it specifically because that's how certain people kept really abusive folks away, you know.
Yeah.
And he said no, you can't do that. It's like, why? And then on top of that,
Fuck you mean, bro? Like, yeah, word.
he also reduced a lot of the protections that used to keep that app a lot safer, you know, which is why ever since he owned the app, bro, the pornification of the app went up high, like honestly. And I noticed the difference because I was an active user of Twitter since like at least 2016, like, and by active as in I was on it every day. So like, you know, it's so I saw the first 4 years I was using it from 2016 to 2020, and then like not even 20, a little bit after, because I forgot when he bought it. He bought it around 2020, 2021, and I saw like the big difference with how much it shifted once he bought it, and it did become trash, bro. And even a lot of the people that I followed, they left the app, and then it became like, oh, why am I even still on this, man? Because like it wasn't the same, man. It wasn't the same. There definitely was a shift. There definitely was a shift in conversation. Like when I was on Twitter, I felt like I was learning, and then after he bought it, I felt like I was there for gossip hour, bro. That shit felt like TMZ. You know, Twitter went from being really like communal and like people are going back and forth with ideas, and I saw innovative stuff happening, to like again more bulto and ads and fucking OnlyFans fucking ads and shit. Like I'm tired of it. Honestly, that's why I didn't.
Right.
That's why I didn't mind deleting it. I'm like, you know what? And I was really stuck on Twitter. Twitter was honestly the most social media I used. I probably should have transferred over from IG and started trying to, but I didn't. Whatever. Anyway, that's why I'm like.
The porn is crazy. The porn is crazy.
You know, him shifting the app, like I could see it. You know, and then I actually was looking him up for what I wanted to show you. This where do I have this at? I thought I put it sent it over. I guess I didn't, but you know, remember Vivian, Elon Musk's daughter? She responded to him and said that call a spade. Like she's saying this is who he is. You know.
Oh wow.
So and we already know how he felt.
I remember, I remember
you
that.
know, about how Elon felt about his daughter, right? And the comments he made about her, that's what I'm saying. Again, like this dude.
Which were wrong, I was like, wrong.
Yeah, man, this is not, you know, this guy's intentional, man. Intentional. Super intentional. You know, this isn't like, so what I'm torn about is like how much this is getting publicity, because again, bad publicity is good publicity. So my fear is how much attention this is getting for that end, but at the same time, I do think it's important that people are talking about it and at least highlighting that is not something that should be done. However, now that I'm even reading certain articles, I'm like, they're not necessarily taking a side. They're just saying, hey, this is what he did. And some people are calling it a Nazi salute. They're not saying like we as a publication call it a such and such. And again, I don't expect much for certain publications because a lot of these people are in bed with these guys. You're not going to see anything from the Washington Post. Why? Because Bezos owns it. And so he's not going to talk bad about his boy, you know. And which, look, man, these people don't want to, that's how I know it's all about control, man, because you technically can't even criticize these folks. You criticize these folks and there's a problem. It's like, all right, so you want a free country, right? You love about how this country's all free, whatever, but as soon as someone speaks their mind, they don't ever want to ask about it.
Damn, so she's trying to say she sees him as a Nazi. Shit. Call a spade a spade. I'm about to order a blueberry cheesecake, an apple turnover, tres leches with pecan.
Make
and
you
a
hungry.
smoothie.
You ordering food, man? My God. He's like, oh, all this politics is making me hungry.
You know,
This politics thing.
stress eating.
Yeah, listen, it gets big, but I mean, again, so I like, you know, platforms like this is important. You know, because to even have a conversation and even ask Rob, like, you know what I'm saying? Because like, if it's not your wheelhouse, then you know you're having this conversation with me. That's what I'm saying. That's what for you is an opportunity to like continue finding out more, continue even engaging more. Oh, I haven't thought about that. That's a different thought, right? Because again, man, we're all gonna get our facts, and especially if we're only getting our facts from social media, like it's gonna be very hard. Like that's why I try to watch different things. So I get news from YouTube, I read articles, I then get something from Reddit, then I'll get something from ABC News this morning, right? I'm like, how are y'all in different spaces talking about it? I go to Democracy Now! Still, you know, and then I go to like the other Black Liberation Media. Then I try to look at grassroots news people. Like, how are these folks who are like running soup kitchens and running like regular localized programs? Like, well, how are they talking about this stuff?
Yeah, I wonder what Democracy Now! Is putting up. I haven't checked. Let me see.
You know, always gauging like with different news whenever I could, just to always get like, again, like what's going on in different ways and from different people, and then trying to, of course, get to like where do I fit and what conclusions do I want to draw from what I'm seeing, you know. Another thing that like came up like more than ever is just even like just legacy, man, just legacy. I see what happened with like Martin Luther King, right? I know his celebrating his legacy, which I think a day still probably wouldn't even be enough. Like this man was 39 when he was assassinated, you know, like we're not far from 39. But his story was also an extraordinary one, you know. You're talking about someone who graduated high school early, who was like highest of his class even in college. So, you know, MLK was definitely like no slouch when it came to even being disciplined around his academics. He was like a pastor status at a really young age. Like this man was definitely like in his studies, reading all the time. And then he liked to have fun, of course. You know, there was a fun side of him. He wasn't like this uptight ass dude as well from what I've read about Martin Luther King. And then you see how his legacy though gets tarnished because again it's like it gets sanitized to like, oh, he was this peaceful man. Like if Martin Luther King would be pissed right now. Like if anything, I'd imagine had he been given a chance to live, I think he would have been a grumpy old ass dude, bro. I think he would have been out here like, fuck you. Like, I think he would have been upset. Like, you know, I think he would have been really upset what was going on, you know, because it's like, because he was, you know, things that he was marching for is for us to not be here right now. It's not. It's for now. Right. It's for now for all these rappers calling Donald Trump their dad. You know, he wasn't doing all that expecting this to be the case. Like, did he think it would happen? Somebody, did he think it would happen? Like, he probably envisioned it, but it was stuff that was already happening in the '60s, right? With celebrities flip-flopping, celebrities taking up for folks who are probably bad for the community. Like, these are things that a lot of our ancestors and revolutionaries probably saw already. Malcolm X, another one, you know, also really, really young, you know.
How old was he?
Just turned 40 and 40 something. He might have been 39 as well, actually. I think he was in his 30s. Hold up, I should know this, man. But he was also really in his 30s, yeah. No, he was 40. He was 40. So.
Ah, man, it's right there.
Yeah, he's 40.
39, 40.
Yeah. And he had just turned 40.
Damn.
So he had turned 40 in February 21st of he was turning 40. He was also 39, sorry. He was born in May 19th, 1925 in Nebraska, and he was assassinated February 21st, 1965. So right, either my math was wrong or he was gonna be 40. Yeah, he was going to be 40.
He was gonna be.
Yeah. No, so wait, sorry. I think Martin Luther King was on the way. I'm gonna screw this up.
No, but we get it, And you don't gotta say that we're close again. Yeah,
listen. I don't know. Oh shit, they were coincidence? They were both 39.
No coincidences.
With Malcolm X being older than
No coincidences.
MLK by 4 years. But you know, these are two brothers, man. You know, no coincidence, right? Biggie and Pac. Biggie and Pac were cool. They made them hate each other. Malcolm X and Martin Luther King were not cool, and then they got cool, and then what happened? They still got assassinated, right? Because those two forces, who apparently represent two polarizing forces, can't ever get together. Those kinds of minds are dangerous. Just like if Pac and Biggie were to get together with those minds, that would have been crazy. There was no way that could have happened. You know?
I felt like with those two, it was also about like just the different. They kind of just hit different angles.
Well, I don't know, Rob. I do question it. The more I look at these documentaries, man, you read into the story, it seems like it was deliberate that they were made to hate each other. Like they were cool with each other.
I'm talking about like they were dangerous if they came together because they came from such different spots, and it was like, damn it, you know. But they holding weight. If they come together, like, yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. But no, I agree. It did seem like they were made to hate each other. Like,
yeah, they were beef. There was low key animosity.
I'm a firm believer that there are people that had to do with that demise. Like people very close to them.
Oh yeah.
I think a lot of minds were fucked up. If you really look at where people ended up too, bro, like it's not that different. It's just levels, like money wise. So they're like fucked up over there in the, you know what I'm saying, on that money bracket, but they're just similar to the fucking other, like us, you know what I'm saying? So like when I look at people, like I don't even want to say their names, but certain artists that were with people in that time, and when they ended up, I'm like, bro, that's got to be some bad mental health. Like they didn't experience nothing fun, nothing enriching. They didn't take it and just look. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't do anything with that experience. That experience wasn't well. Like many of them were traumatized, and like a lot of niggas was faking it. As you could see, it couldn't only be Diddy. So it's like,
yeah, man. Yeah, they did us dirty, man. I think, the way we got robbed of potential, and when I say we, I'm talking about folks at the bottom, folks in need, folks of the poor class, folks of the indigenous class, like folks on the margins, you know, because we really had folks who were out for community who was going to help us get right. And then, you know, that stuff gets taken away from us. You know, instead we just got bamboozled, man. I don't even know no other word as a word. Shout out to Spike Lee, man, bamboozled, but that we just got bamboozled, man. That's
was it that's what's her name? Annie says.
So we you know, it's a it's a large issue that we will have. I do think, again, even with this immigration stuff, the next piece to this is like really worrying about, like, I think how this can be taken. Again, my fear is that law enforcement will use some of this stuff to get people really wrapped up, and I think that's where it gets dangerous, you know. But that's just for folks to continue to being mindful. I do think if you are, you know, use our sources on our phones to study certain laws. When you have a chance, look up certain laws in your state, migration laws. Again, some of the things that they're trying to do is keep people behind for like even petty crimes. Obviously for serious crimes, but like for petty crimes as well, and to detain them and even send them back to the countries they came from. Which, again, my confusion is like, where's all this coming from when we know we need like jobs and labor, we could use all that stuff. But I don't know, man.
Yeah. I don't think they I feel like they're very secure in terms of money. Like it's just some real bully shit. Like America is on some it's trauma on a bigger scale. You feel me?
All that stuff.
Just like upset bully shit, man. Like just making up stories. I don't think like, they're the enemy. Did you see? I just keep trying to like. I just keep trying to think about like, all right, these are just human beings making decisions. All right, so when they make a decision like that, all right, see, it's gotta be trauma. Like they fucked up, they're not dealing with this like shit. They fucking look like, you know what I mean? Like, and even people thinking like when we began the conversation of Elon Musk, and I would never think he's actually dumb, but you must have seen that, like people thinking he's dumb, like he's a child, or he has like this childlike energy. Like even that being a narrative is like, no, of course not dumb, like, but like there, we all have those moments where we just get overwhelmed, and then we you know what I'm saying, we even judge ourselves, and we're like, oh, we're acting like, let me chill out, I'm acting like a kid. I feel like he had one of those moments, even although it is very revealing, like many of the other things he's done. You know what I'm saying? Like he, again, still out of touch. You know, if you knew how people were looking at you, then you would know not to do some shit like that. Or if you even cared, both, right? I'm talking about just two bad sides. It still doesn't, you know what I mean? It doesn't. A Nazi is like red flag, hella red flag. He's already a red flag, but Nazi's like, all right, let's stop the fucking train. Everybody get off. I don't think he was. I don't think it was that, but he's a hella big. It's a hella red flag. I think it's such a red flag that, you know, this is what's happening to us. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's why rehabilitation is tough. You know, the minute that a guy gets angry and he's known to be abusive, and now he can't get angry. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? He, you know, can't get angry. He has to be really, really calm because he can't trigger anyone. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna think he's gonna hit some or something. And he has to be understanding because he's done it before, man or woman.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. Anybody who's been abusive, start losing your abilities to start expressing yourself in certain ways.
That's where that gets even trickier.
Ooh,
man.
Hold on. We ain't got your braids done. This is fresh.
Yeah. Yesterday.
Oh, that's nice.
Yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, man,
That's
yesterday.
Yeah. Still look fresh,
Had to. Yeah. Just got them yesterday. After work, I was like, I almost forgot. I was like, when was it? It felt like a while ago already. I feel like I had these already for a couple of days. I'm like, oh shit, it was yesterday.
Yeah, bro. It's only Wednesday. It's kind of. It's been a long week. It's a long week. That's why I asked you to get on, because I said, hold on, man. There was a little bit more juicy stuff in there. You know, all that shit happened.
Oh yeah,
There's
I mean, the
come,
way
man.
2025 has been rolling out, there's gonna be a lot more stuff to even talk about.
Yo, and Diddy's not released, is he? Because I swore I saw that.
Good question.
I thought I saw Diddy being released, and I was like, nah, no way.
Yeah. I'm not even sure. Maybe he will be.
I just haven't checked.
Because he's been detained?
Yeah, I thought he was definitely detained.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the latest from Variety here I'm seeing is that he filed for a defamation suit. So he's looking to defend himself and say, stop talking about me, guys. I don't like that you're talking about me and saying bad things about me. So he's not liking that we're talking about him, man.
Him and Drake.
He's not liking this too much. So he files a $50 million defamation suit against accuser Courtney Burgess.
Okay.
He filed against a man who publicly claimed to have videos depicting the mogul sexually assaulting inebriated celebrities and minors.
Sheesh. I don't like how he's spreading my stuff.
He's taking a stand against the malicious falsehoods that have been fabricated and amplified by individuals seeking profit at his expense, to Erica Wolf, who's his attorney, in a statement shared with Variety. These defendants have willfully fabricated and disseminated outrageous lies with reckless disregard for the truth. Their falsehood have poisoned public perception and contaminated the jury pool. I mean, I don't think their accusations did that. I think the video with him and Cassie, where he drags her across the floor, did that. I think him making, I don't know, 5 hungry aspiring artists walk to Brooklyn for cheesecake because he felt like it, made us think that his reputation is shitty. I don't know.
And apparently it was for J-Lo. That's bad funny.
So
was for J-Lo cheesy. Or for no, for Mariah
sometimes these
Carey.
things make me
Somebody
laugh. It's like, oh, so these people right now are the reasons why
for J-Lo
we
or
don't look
Mariah.
at him a good way. But it's ridiculous, man. Well, I mean, it's good that you did bring him up though, because in a way, just because I think what he might be hoping is that this publicity just ends, right? Because this is not a case where bad publicity equals good. It's good publicity is because people talking about you. I don't think this is what you know the
Nah.
mogul wants. I think he wants this to go away. I think he would prefer we talk about Elon Musk, so we don't talk about his case. Because the more we could silence about it, he could just work in the background, right? And try to let his money talk and get him out of situations.
I agree. I don't think.
But if the public stays talking about it,
Yeah.
and it's hard for him to move funny without people keeping eyes on him.
Which is why I was just feeling like I don't think the people are gonna let it go.
Oh, he is incarcerated. Combs, who is currently incarcerated, awaiting his May trial. So he's waiting till May. Wow. Interesting. See, because that I did not know. I did not know that he was.
Locked up? You didn't know?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
Well, again, it's one of those things where I'm guilty of, right? Like with all the news, I kind of.
I heard you.
Stay away from things. I honestly just thought
I hear that, bro. Sometimes you gotta stay away.
It was a slap
got
on
worse
the
and
wrist.
worse. Oh.
I thought it was just a slap on the wrist until he gets until his trial. But I see, so he is locked up. Listen, man, it's not good that he's in jail.
That's what those 2 moments where his children were there, his sons, and they kept following them out. That's what those moments were. Because they were sentencing him. They just came together, Hold on. But yeah. I thought I saw something that said he was out. Thank God it was fake. Oh my God. I thought all this bad news. I was like, holy smokes. Not out just like that, you feel me? Like no disrespect to his freedom. But like, it just felt weird that this guy gets elected and it's like he's free. It's like what? No trial. No.
Yeah, man.
Because I stepped out of the business. I'm waiting for a trial where shit gets legal and everything's all A-okay from both sides.
Yeah, man. Well, hopefully, we'll see where this does ultimately land us. Or at least with Diddy, right? Once things get figured out. I do. Yeah, there is some troubling pieces to it in some ways, but in terms of like if he's able to get away with it, I do think that that's possible. But I do hope the truth really comes out, man, and I think we already know enough truth. And that more importantly, folks that were hurt and harmed by his behavior are getting the help and the justice in whatever form they see fit, some healing for sure. Because I do know the more that this kind of story stays in the media and it becomes like a circus cycle, right? The victims are also a part of this as well. And many of them who are nameless, who we don't know about. And we just talk about Diddy, right? Because we don't know who his victims are. Right? We don't know who are the countless people that he invited to parties and, harmed. I do think, I will say, what's another thing that came up? I am switching...
switch up.
Switching topics real quick, but what came up was the so some folks I don't know if you heard about this. No, I don't know if you heard about the story with Blake Lively, right? And
and this guy where she was like they had that
and Justin Baldoni, right? Because that is a big topic as well, who's coming up recently. And I do believe every year or so, there's a story like this in celebrity news that's been doing with harassment and boundary crossing behavior, especially when it comes to consent. And so I always think
I didn't know that's what it was about.
It's a perfect time I mean, yeah, I have it here. I have it up. I'll share the. Let me. Oh, I don't know if I'm sharing the. I am sharing it. Let me see.
You are sharing the screen. I
Yeah,
know, I
yeah,
know, I
yeah. All right.
see.
So,
I'm just
that
saying I
came
didn't
up,
know. Yeah, go ahead.
and I thought it was big, especially here. Because I think as men, you know, I think this is the part where it gets tricky. Because for some men, it's like they don't like discussing this because, again, it's always the woman's fault, and it's always the woman just complaining and trying to get a man down by saying sexually assaulted. So, really quickly, just looking at this article from People Magazine, which has the most latest um, uh, update on this like story, because she is also filing, a formal complaint and a lawsuit based on the harassment she faced. Right. So recently there was a footage that behind the scenes video that was obtained right here by TMZ. Right. Which I think was released to try to taint her argument in the lawsuit, in which she claims that uh, I guess fellow co-star in the movie Justin Baldoni um, engaged in sexual harassment while they were shooting the film, right? Um, so let me see what this actually link says real quick. Um, so in her lawsuit, she claimed severe, emotional distress uh, due to this sexual harassment, and there's more that's on the case, so I'm not gonna go through it too much, but. Now the interesting thing is that a video was dropped. Why do I look mad? I look like I'm about to be ghosting this camera. God damn. Give me some color. There's some tan up in this. I just saw myself. I'm like, I'm looking white as hell.
Yellow.
Now I'm yellow, but I was white. All right. Anyway, so in so what made me bring this up is that, again, I think consent is an issue that I think, and a process in which I think still too many of us, and when I say us, I mean humans from old to young, have different interpretations of, and I think that is harming relationships because, and I think especially for men, I think with the messages we get about like approaching people we like and we're attracted to, vary very differently than what people are saying they expect from us. So, in this case, right? So she files a complaint where it said she was not like, she didn't like what he did. So somebody releases behind the scene footage showing one of the scenes in which Blake Lively and Justin were just holding each other, and they were shooting like a no sound scene. They were shooting like a montage scene. So they're just supposed to be like, looking at each other and improving because they just want to have that still of them dancing. They don't care what they're saying. It's not really a scene. It's like, we're going to shoot this for like a role in which we're going to do a montage, and we're going to be playing music in the background, whatever. And I'm just going to be there, right? So in this scene, however, what she's saying is that during this, and it says it here, in her complaint, the accusation is that he leaned forward and slowly dragged his lips from her ear down her neck and said it smells so good. And he kept on trying to talk to her while like passing his lips across her neck. And again, they're not in character technically. I mean, they are and they're not.
They are.
They are.
But they are. It's a scene and they're shooting.
Right.
But I don't know if it was like on camera or not. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
So so this is where it gets crazy, because it says here, look, after caressing Lively with his mouth in a way that had nothing to do with the roles, Baldoni later allegedly responded to her objection by saying, "I'm not even attracted to you." And what does that remind you of? That reminds you of the dude in the streets like, yo, ma, can I holler at you? Yo, can I holler at you? Yo, fuck you, bitch, you ugly anyway.
Nah, it's childish. Men and women have this kind of relationship where they
sexual harassment. I'm not even attracted to you. Whoa, I would never do that because I'm not even attracted to you.
To some men, they think that that's the highest compliment to avoid being accused.
But it's not a compliment, because if I'm not attracted to you, that implies that you're not attractive.
Because
you feel me?
No, not that. But that's what I'm saying. I've seen that, like, it's not that they just want you to know, like, I would not.
But again,
if I found you attractive.
Right.
Maybe I couldn't control myself. but I don't find
see,
you
and
attractive,
that's
so
an
I
issue
can't
with
control
men
myself.
because men attraction has
That is
nothing to do with whether you can control yourself or not.
control. Exactly.
So I always wonder, but where do we learn to say I'm not even attracted to you as a yo? Well, you should know I would never assault you because I'm not even attracted to you.
It's where I think it's coming from. That whole thing. I don't care. I don't even care. I don't even care.
No, it's coming from this
Whole
idea
kind
that
of
is
thing
about
from being a kid and
power.
not growing up.
But is it though?
Yeah.
Did we
Well,
learn that could
it
be
is
like for me
power.
to let you know, like if I'm trying to tell a girl, like if she's accusing me of grabbing her ass, and my response is, "Yo, girl, I don't even like you. I don't even like your ass. Like, why would I grab it?" So where did I learn that in order for me to even attempt to grab her ass, even without her consent, I must like her? Because then that shouldn't even go hand in hand, right?
No,
Because
it's
then
all wrong. First of all,
you
but I
know what I'm
think it's
saying? Like for me to
there's a lot
like
of
you,
layers to it.
and again is that I think this misinformation again, in which when we hear of cases of rape, they call it an act of passion, or maybe out of passion, or
Right. That
or
just
maybe they just liked
honesty.
himself too much. And in the media, we've been told that someone who raped somebody else did it because of these urges. And sexual
Right.
assault and rape is never about urges, or at least I've come to learn, right?
I hear what
It's
you're
about
saying.
like it's a harmful behavior that I'm doing to show you I got power over you.
Yeah,
The
it's a
same
power
way as if
dynamic.
I was gonna beat your ass, but I didn't beat your ass. I decided to sexually assault you. I could have just whooped your ass,
Uh,
but I'm gonna sexually assault your ass, and that's how I got power over you.
well, it's
You know,
like,
and
is
sorry for
it
putting it that
the
graphically. I
equivalent
don't
of
even
like,
mean
I'm
to
not
be
gonna
that
beat your
graphic.
ass because that would be proof, but I will like verbally assault you and kind of
Yeah.
like befriend you and
And
do
so
like fucked up shit. Like that's fucked up. Yeah,
that's why it's
I
like
hear what you're saying.
and if
It's a
we know
slippery
this, but
slope.
again, if you have this context, then you know, well, Justin, you already fucked up by even saying I'm not even attracted to you.
Yeah, for sure, for
If you
sure.
know
Well,
that what that statement even implies, then it's like, oh man, red flag, bro, red flag, red flag.
so,
Because are you saying if you were attracted to her, then you would have done something like that and potentially then some, right? Because it's either you did it or
this
you
is
didn't.
very tricky though because
You
I'm an
either did it
actor
or you
myself,
didn't.
so I have had to do romantic scenes
Right.
with women, and I never really get to the. I would hope that they would just they could communicate with me, and if they ever felt, I never had those conversations. I mean, I've always asked, if ever I felt uncomfortable, is this okay? Um, you know what I mean? Like if I was unsure, I would ask if this is okay, and they let me know, and go from there. Um, but you know, this is the tricky part. See, this is the all right, so I've worked with people and it's like I've had good relationship with them, right? If I'm imagining going to like a public kind like making it a big thing, like in the sense of this either or going the how do you say court route or the media route, either or, both are bad. Like
But
I
Rob,
wouldn't want to do that to the
if I may
actor that
ask you
I'm
though,
across. I would want to
like,
tell them right at the moment.
but that's what I mean. Like, I want to ask though, since you have been there though, has there been a time where you probably like in being in character, maybe you grabbed their neck and they didn't, and like in improving, and then they had to, yo, but that's not, nah, I don't like that in the scene, right? Because usually
That's what I'm
you're
saying.
actors, so
Yeah, like
you either
I'll
pre-plan
grab
scenes,
her
so you
face.
already discuss beforehand this is
Yeah.
what's gonna happen, and then you are okay with it, which is good because that's how all things should go, consent, right? But like if you know you're like, all right, so y'all have this scene, boom, and then there's things that might be improv. Like my thing is like, yeah, if you had that experience, right, where your co-star has told you, well, like, you put your hand there and then they like do this, right? Like, did you do like this again?
See, my
Or
thing.
were
That's
you
the
as an
thing. Like,
actor
yeah,
like
it has to be communicate. That's the thing.
like,
That's
or were
that's what.
you as an actor like, okay, okay, I can't do that, all right? So how else can I? Because
Yeah, that's
according to this, and what Lively is saying is that he kept on trying to lean in for a kiss several times, and in the behind the scenes footage, which I didn't watch the whole thing, they start joking around. So they joke, and she makes a joke about his nose being too big, and so then I started reading the comments, and of course, folks are like, "Well, she wasn't sexually assaulted. Look at her joking around with him. Look at her joke. She didn't feel uncomfortable, you know." But then you hear from people who have been in her position, and who said, "Well, look at this. Look at when he leans in and she backs away twice," or look, she's making a joke to deflect from like he's over here trying to get all like this on her face, and just, look at your nose, look at your nose, to deflect a little
I
bit,
got a hot take for
and
this.
getting him to like, so it's again, my thing is a lot of I've worked with men, so I know a lot of us like to act dumb, or a lot of us not only like to like dumb, but we are actually ignorant because we haven't done the work to really get in tune with people's bodies and especially women's bodies to know when they are uncomfortable. Because a lot of times it's about me, 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 me. So I do think there is some guys who are ignorant. So they'll keep like they might miss the subtle like get your hand on my face real quick. I might try to do it again, right? And then there's some men who like, girl, like, let me touch your face, like, cause this is your mind, like, and they do have that like mentality of like,
Mhm.
I'm a man, you're a woman, and like you're gonna let me do this to you, because like as a man, this is like what I'm, right, and all consent ideals go out the window. So him, Justin, I'm like, first again with his response, my whole thing is like, if he, I already know there's some parts of him that know he was wrong because of the way he's been responding. But I mean, clearly he didn't rape her in the middle of the dance floor either. So I don't think he should be thrown in jail for fucking 20 years for
Right, and
like
in this
leaning in for a
context, it's like
kiss, and
different.
she didn't want a kiss. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not also saying like lock him up. He went in for a kiss and she ain't want one. Like, no. But if the dude doesn't get right on consent, then yeah, Justin, it'll eventually lead from like I'm gonna lean in for a kiss and you're not gonna let me to like now you're gonna let me kiss you. Now you're gonna let me take off your clothes. You're gonna, right? They're
I
all
got a
within the
hot
same
take for
line.
this though. I want to
Yeah.
say this is why not everyone is meant to be actors. No one really knows Blake Lively as an actor.
Hmm.
Now, no one considers her an actor, at least in my and
Hmm.
from my perspective, and neither does the other people, the other guy. You know what I'm saying? This is
Yeah.
a hot take is that this is a mature job that two immature people couldn't handle and do. You know what I'm saying? Had a lot of she had a lot on her plate. So who's to know if like, I'm saying, she just wasn't even having the best days, and he didn't you're right, he didn't know how to, I'm saying, actually be a man to a woman and comfort her. And the irony on God is that his role was supposed to be some kind of romantic love interest, right? Like
If I'm
that a
not
woman would
mistaken,
want.
yeah.
You know what I mean? But here he is dealing with a woman in real time. But she's directing and acting. You know what I'm saying? Like she gotta act like you actually are, what I'm saying, appealing to her. And then you know what I'm saying, you're doing all this slick shit. To me, it's like in theater, there's some camaraderie. Like I did take like as when I got a kissing scene with
Hmm.
someone, it wouldn't always be the same. And sometimes, yeah, I would. I had a moment where I like grab the face as I go away, but like and that would be one difference. There was no mention of it being bad. It was all in the scene, in the moment. And I would hope that the woman would, a actor, an actress, what I'm saying, a person would say something, and that we work that way because that's what acting is.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's two people coming together that they have their own styles and
for
they're
sure.
improvising, trying to make one picture. It's not gonna be perfect. Now, if she kept having to say stop and he wasn't doing it, the weird thing is that she was in charge of that, producing it. So like you could have probably switched him, right? Like fired him, like switched the whole thing. So I wonder if that's why for me I say that it feels like it was two immature people that couldn't do the mature thing. They had a mature job, and acting is not for everyone.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like to have to do that. Like look at the
Mm.
character that like
Yeah.
the penguin that Colin Farrell has to he has to be this fucking dirty ass character, and walk around, though he's such a nice, upbeat, pleasant guy. It seems like everyone loves you know what I'm saying? You think he's lying? You know what I mean? Or you think he just, what I'm saying, he's a master of the craft. I mention him because he's been doing it for so many years, and it makes sense why he would get awards right now. And it's like, okay, look at him. I like seeing that as an actor. He didn't get all the accolades in the beginning. I don't know these two as actors, so I think that they kind of just didn't click.
Yeah.
Every little thing, there was bad moments. Media is gonna ask, so how is the chemistry between you guys?
Yeah.
And then they're gonna pick at you. You're gonna say one bad thing. It did feel like it was growing. It wasn't always here where we're at the courts, right? It was growing, a comment here, a comment
Mm.
there from him and her, and then it got to here, and it's like, I feel like
Oh, yeah. Well, I didn't know it went that way. I didn't know that they had like a back and forth before it got to this like lawsuit
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. Between Justin and Blake Lively. Uh, Um,
Damn,
but
yo, your brother hit with PJ. That's
nice.
what's up. He said I'm the PJ whisperer.
Hmm.
That's what's up. Yeah, bro, they had a back and forth, man. It's not easy. But again, as an actor, I say like I remember like the bond, like the bond that you have to have with
Yeah.
people. That's the thing. I never had to worry about it because I had a connection with the people I'm acting with, and before you even get to be that emotional, you get to a lot of, is this okay? Is that okay? How is this all right? I feel like doing this. You get
Yeah.
to all of that,
Well,
and then you
that's
get
what.
to the scene where you take privileges, so that
Well,
if you
there was
take
a lot missing.
privileges,
That's what I'm saying. There's definitely a lot missing, and I think the
yeah,
truth will
yeah,
hopefully come
yeah,
out.
for sure.
As far as like who's responsible for that, right? Because did Lively try to talk to him about certain scenes beforehand, and then it was working that way? Because again, the allegation in this article is written by People Magazine is like she's made claim of him being like basically a raging misogynistic during the set. So like these are
Mm,
things about him being said that's like okay, so you could just be saying these things about him, but who else is also saying that? Because I'm like, will people come out to his rescue and be like, well, he's not a raging misogynist? Like what's going on here? But I think that will all come out. But the more important thing, because honestly, I really don't care about these two people in general. I it's
Go switch.
it's the consent piece. Again, I do think is
Right, right,
important because
right,
that's what
right.
stands out to me. Because uh, these could be two. Again, it could just be that they have some corny like little rift between each other, and now and unfortunately, it's coming out this big. But I've always been of the mindset that like, look, I'm not perfect as a man. Um, I'm pretty sure, and I have made like women uncomfortable with my advances before. I've held myself accountable, apologized for it, and the times I did do it, um, you know, the best thing I have done is not do it again. Like, right, not make these choices again.
Right. That's the best thing you
Um,
could do. Right, right, right.
but again, I know what you're not gonna hear is 10, 15 women come out and be like, yo, he's a raging misogynist. I've been around him. He's a raging misogynist. Like, so I always do get
Right.
we're like cautious of like when people are saying this about a dude, like and women, not just one woman, but like women are saying this about a dude, right? I do get cautious about that because I've definitely made women uncomfortable, but then you know what I'm saying. But if now they're like, all right, but this dude, and then they're pointing out to this other dude, I say, I know, yeah, you made me, but like this dude right here, like do not put me in a room with him. Like, oh, like, all right, so why are you saying that about him though? Because like I know what my threshold is, and I already harmed somebody, and you cool with being around me. So if you're saying something
Right.
about, you know what I'm saying? So that always is a red flag. If they're calling Baldoni a raging misogynist, and more people come out and say that about him, I'm like, because I know I could be a dick and sarcastic, but I don't think no one's gonna talk about me like that. And ask me how would I feel if someone did, I'd be shocked as hell because I'll be the first time, but I'll be definitely very interested, you know. And if people are talking about me in this way, then trust me, I've been a changed man.
That's what I'm
because
saying. Like you gotta
because
have
it's
the
not
moment,
me.
the mistake, and make the change. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's not me. Again, but I think a lot of guys and especially a lot of men in Hollywood have gotten so used to getting away with their behavior
But
uh,
accountability is,
that they're used to not being accountable. That's what I'm saying.
right.
I don't trust actors, especially male actors, because they got away with so much shit. I mean,
Oh, 1 second,
historically,
brother. 1 second. 1 second.
historically, a lot of people in Hollywood got away with a lot of shit, like a lot of shit. So it's not just me and my craziness. I know Rob got a phone call, but Rob, you can take that phone call. I'll fly solo for a little bit. I'll try to mute him then, so that you're not even hearing him, because how uncomfortable is that hearing his whole phone call? But I muted him though, which is fine. Rob should be cool. But yeah, Hollywood in itself has been like, these a lot of these men in Hollywood got away for their behaviors. Hollywood is rife with like sexual assault, sexual harassment. Like the stories are there, man. You know what I mean? We can't act like we don't know this anymore. So then when I hear stories of actors like that, I'm like, Justin, you know. But listen, let me tell you again. I don't care much because I know Blake Lively. She ain't perfect either. I know she's been. There's a lot of shit I could probably find on her. It's not so good. So there is that. But I think the bigger picture is again consent, and for the men out there, again, like just reviewing basic stuff, man. Body language is important. If you make an advance on a woman, there's nothing to make an advance on someone, right? I think it's important to keep in mind of body language. So obviously, if they're pulling away, are they laughing nervously? Did they not? Are they saying stop multiple times? Like is and is the third time they said stop like a stern like stop, right? Like there's like well, especially if they're saying stop already. I think that should be like the main one. Like okay, you might be overstepping it. I mean, I know one of the things I definitely have gotten myself on. I'll tell you something that may seem minimized, but I do. And then I've seen young men do this as well, where like they're the girls they play around with. For I see a lot of play fighting in young folks in general. Again, I don't remember play fighting that much, or especially with now with girls. Now with girls, with girls. Now I do remember you used to play fight with oh my god, who was it? You and Charlene used to go at it. I know I'm saying her name. I was like, but Ashley was funny as fuck because that took me back. Well, I'm like gonna say her name, but yeah. Um, she'll fight. She'll fight. Yeah, she'll fight. Yeah, she'll fight. She'll fight. She'll fight. She'll fight. She'll fight. Yeah. Um. mm, Um. And like I think I was gonna say I challenge myself like because I know some of the things that I sometimes minimize that I've like had to check myself on is like I be joking around, I'm a little jokester, so with my partners like I tickle. So sometimes they're like I'm tickling and I'm like, oh let me try to make you laugh. But I've noticed that I've had to check myself. I'm like, even though my partners are laughing, they're telling me to stop. And I know technically they want me to stop. But even though they're like chuckling, like, you know, yeah, they don't really like this, but they're telling me to stop, and it's like I got to chill. So it's like again now, because I think it's funny and it's playful. Do I continue? And it's no harm. I'm just tickling, right? Like I'm not really harming you, but it's like they don't want this, and so out of respect for like consent and boundaries, it's like my job is not whether or not my intention is to not harm them, is what do they want, and they don't want this, so then I stop, right? So I just think that's important because again, even for someone like myself, I'm still thinking about consent in these ways, right, and still having to check my own self um, of how like am I respecting boundaries constantly with the partners I'm with, right, and with my partner. Um, so I think that's just a message I want to like get across because even again, it's about like paying attention to body language or and your partner and like what they're asking for, and keeping in mind that like it's bigger than just what you're intending, right? When it comes to consent and boundaries, like you have to take yourself out of it, and it's not about like, well, I didn't intend on hurting you. It's like, but if they didn't want this, and that's yeah, you know what I mean. There's no I didn't intend, right? And then you could move on, right? Because God forbid you don't want to really harm somebody to a point where you can't even have a conversation afterwards. Let it just be that like, yo, yeah, you just did too much, right? Let's just can we? All right, thank you. Can you just stop? Okay, stop. Boom, and you move on to the next thing. Like let it always just be that, and that's it. But we have to get out of ourselves and not let our egos get in the way when someone's like, "No, it's okay. I don't want this." It's all right, man. Move on to the next thing. That's all. That's all.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah, I think it gets tricky with men when the person is like that you're like someone you're dating. You know, that's what I've noticed. That's the only time I had one misunderstanding with someone I was dating, and then after that, it never again. Never happened again. So I was like, oh shit.
Hmm.
Because when you're dating with someone, you think that you can like, you know their fears, so you're and they trust you, so you're, at least from my perspective, it would be like almost when like someone's trying to, no, try this, taste it. I'm telling you, I don't like it, but I'm thinking you might like this one. It's a little different, and it's that kind of energy. You think that you got that relationship with someone,
Hmm.
you know. When it's clear as day, you getting to know someone, right? Trust the signs, the body language. My goodness, please, that's some creepy weird shit. But I've only had one misunderstanding with someone I was dating. And that's speaking from me, like my actions. Women with me as well, like it has happened recently, but I think it's because I've been taking a stance on like limiting my like sexual interactions.
Hmm.
And like now, so it's like, but like I'm talking about sex, so then it's like women don't know how to act with me if it's like if they put like their hand on my belly. What does that, what does that mean? Is this okay? And I'm like, I mean, yeah, it's fine. It's just your hand on my belly, unless you're trying. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
like, what are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah, we're just cuddling. You know what I mean? So I've had it's funny the dynamic how it switched once I stopped, when took sex off the table, and now I started seeing how like, man, all kind of interactions that are like it's amazing how it's all tainted, all romantic, kind of intimate, everything is kind of tainted when it's like because of this kind of end game right here. This thing is, which is not an end game at all. Sex is
Hmm.
not the end game, brother. That's what I think.
Well, why do you use the word tainted though? Like, is it tainted for you? In
I
what
say
sense?
tainted in a
Uh,
sense where it's like it's always so connected. It's like, so then there's this. It doesn't get its own special moment, right? Intimacy can't just be intimacy without it being tied into it ending with sex, right? Or somebody can't be
but it
romantic.
can. It can be,
It is.
and it
It
is. Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah.
But I'm
But
talking
that's why I
about
was asking why you use tainted though.
what I've learned and what I've been experiencing, that society is having a little bit, certain people that
Mm.
I've experienced are having a little issue where that's, my recent experience where I just felt like taking sex off the table allows me now, I'm in the place to have to communicate, overly communicate what I'm okay with and what I'm not.
Right.
But did that clear up why I said it was tainted? I just said it's tainted because I see that like if the woman just wants to say she wants to cuddle, you know, I'm seeing it as cuddling because I know I don't want sex. But
Mm.
then then they got to make sure that they say it again, and I'm like, yeah, I know. Or then if they want to put their hand on their but my, like I said,
Your body,
some
yeah, like your
on my
body,
body,
yeah,
you know, I'm not thinking of it that way, but I'm seeing how like, now we gotta communicate. We gotta keep communicating it because right, conditioning where we're all at, and I understand that.
yeah. And I think, well, I guess in that part it gets tricky though, right? Because like on one hand, it's good to check in, right? Though, right? If one person just to
For
make
sure.
sure
Yeah.
you don't want to mess up. So it might also just be, yeah. Well, my hope is that it's just recent experiences for you because I think if you're just getting with somebody, I think you should check in and make sure things okay at every moment. So if they're putting their hand on your back versus a hand on your stomach versus hand on your thigh versus like I think checking in, especially if your starting point was like I'm not really trying to engage in intercourse, and touching me in these places could. But that's what I'm saying. It depends on how things get communicated, right?
I
Like,
hear now why you were asking me why I
uh,
say tainted,
uh,
because what I'm actually referring to is a good thing happening, but I say tainted as a negative connotation. But you
yeah.
know what I'm yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad turn. It's like that's a good thing we're doing.
Right,
I'm
that's
just
why I was
saying
like, is that part tainted though?
no, no,
Because
no.
people,
It's
I
not.
would hope you want women to check in with you to make sure, you know what
Yeah,
I'm
for
saying?
sure.
Like, not
It's
just
a good
grab
thing.
up on you.
There's an energy behind everything. You feel me? Like you could just tell. Like, you could like when somebody the difference between when somebody comes into a room and introduces themselves just because that's kind of what you would do. You introduce, stepped into a new room. You don't know these people, as opposed to like if somebody stepped into a room, introduced themselves, and they had an experience before that went badly. Like. So then they know, like, oh no, I had to introduce myself because last time I didn't introduce myself, everybody thought I was an asshole. They didn't think I cared about them. Like there's an energy behind it, so I wouldn't like. I could just feel like that. That's what I meant. I'm like, I could feel like, or maybe it's just me too. in my experience and me projecting, like, I just know that because of where society is at, this is what we're doing right now, right? Okay, cool. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, things definitely, and that's why I meant like going back to like consent just being I think it's always been a trouble though, Rob. You know, I don't
I
think that
always
was just
find myself
now.
being the guy to be like, yeah, no, no, no. Hey, I hear, I understand. And I'm
Well,
like,
that's why I think it's tricky because you're saying always, but I'm like, hey man, there's still more experiences left, and also,
oh, for sure, bro. No, I'm
right,
saying always thus far. Yeah, I'm not saying for the rest
uh,
of my life. I don't
you
future
know,
project.
and is that a bad thing? You want to be in charge, right? I want to tell you whether that's okay, right? You don't tell me whether that was okay or not. You know what I'm
No, but
saying?
I will say this as a man, and I'm
You
talking
know,
relationship wise. I like that when I'm just meeting someone, relationship wise. Though I always say, like, after I told my woman, like, I like a woman to take charge. So like if she's gonna like, but that's obviously after you got my consent already.
well, yeah. See, that takes trust, though, right?
That's kind of what I was talking about.
Because
Yeah, yeah,
they
yeah.
gotta know, what you like and stuff like that, when you like it, which that takes time to
Right,
learn.
right,
Hard
right,
to
right.
learn in a couple dates and a couple times you hang out.
Which I wonder if people, and we could stay on topic with men. I wonder if men, are kind of allowing themselves to have that time, or if they're even paying attention to that. I'm like, we got to condition ourselves.
Hmm.
So you might not be that guy that is. I don't think society is helping us condition ourselves to be those men that, um, wait for the right time to happen. You know what I'm saying? It's not about you. It's not about everything that you got to do. That's where this whole system interplay it gets crazy because like it the whole narrative of like you're not where you're at because you didn't put in the work yet. You're gonna get where you at when you do everything you gotta do. It's like so but you didn't, you know what I'm saying? That shit gets I feel like that fucks with people's minds. Where
Yeah.
like they don't got this they don't get the girl because they didn't do enough yet. Don't worry, I'm gonna get it. I gotta do more. I gotta do more. Here you go. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like nah bro, just chill out. Just oh
Oh
shit,
man.
yeah, I gotta take a break in 6 minutes. Where we at?
Oh shit. We had an hour 30, man. I think we actually a good
Oh
time. I didn't even
love,
realize it was
love,
gonna be
love.
10, man.
Hour
That's good.
30.
Yeah. Well, that we've been streaming. Yeah. That's
I'm
what I got
glad,
here.
I'm glad. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't realize how late it was.
Time.
We went from salutes to
Yeah, we touch a lot. We touch
misinformation,
a lot. We ain't not gonna have a title for this
uh,
one.
to then consent, in one, which is a continuation, for I think, to the conversation we were having on Monday too. But as always, I will keep talking about, man.
Yeah, love. We let's continue that for later. Let's
Hmm.
use that as motivation for next time. We could touch on upon a lot more of consent.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, sure there'll be stuff to talk about.
yeah, nah,
Like
yeah,
the way the news is moving, man. I don't doubt it. If by next week Monday, there'll be some crazy shit
crazy.
we hear, and it's gonna have to,
Nah, God bless
and it
America.
might do with consent, man. So
Oh man,
we'll
nah,
definitely get there.
yeah.
Well, I think, but yeah, I'm definitely, there's definitely more we could talk to on that. I think it's always relevant, for sure, and maybe we'll get an update on this Baldoni and Lively case too to help
Mm,
support the conversation, or
right,
even
right.
or even from Diddy.
Yeah, well,
He said, maybe I could do without Diddy, but
nah, we'll see.
man,
I'm not
you might
weighing
want to
that.
tune into this Dallas and Minnesota game though. This is for Rivals Week, by the way. They have 3 minutes left. Minnesota up by 8.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
I
man.
will
They're having
do
this
that.
Rivals Week, which Golden State and Kings is next. I actually like that they called it Rivals Week. I was like, okay, that's
That's what's
cool.
up.
Had the New York Knicks and the Nets play each other yesterday. I think the
Yeah.
Lakers, who played yesterday? The Lakers and the Clippers, and then so now you got Minnesota Dallas playing, which I didn't even know they were. I forgot they were rivals, considered rivals like that. And then you have Sacramento Kings, and I forgot who's playing tomorrow. But yeah, they got a couple of teams that are considered rivals playing each other this week, which is pretty cool. And again, they're calling it Rivals Week. I was like, all right, I'm giving us something. What I'm saying, pretty cool name. I like it. I like it.
I'm jacking.
All right, Bob. It was
Yeah,
always good,
bro.
man. Getting on impromptu, but still having much needed conversation.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you for getting me on because honestly, I still haven't even been feeling 100%. So I was just gonna cool out really. But
You
I'm still,
sound good
yeah.
though, man. So you on your pick me up?
Yeah, the cough is still bad though. I feel like I think, I'm not gonna do much. I've been getting to bed at a good time. I'll probably head to bed in like the next 30 minutes. I've been drinking tea. So I think like probably, tomorrow I should wake up closer to 100%. I'm definitely trying to be better. Hopefully by the weekend, man. I'm not trying to be down on the weekend because I was already down one weekend, which was
Right.
last weekend. And there's shit to do, man. So
Well, 1 week is not a lot, man. I'll tell you, it take me usually now like 2 weeks to heal. Like somebody was telling me, like, damn, bro, I feel like you've been sick
yeah.
the whole month,
Nah, listen, it was
and
creeping
I
me
was like,
out, bro, when
damn, it
I'm
was like,
waking up. Listen,
man,
but whatever we be getting is true, bro. But I'm trying to get, to 100%. Definitely better than the last few days, bro.
I need the summer to come back. I'm from the
Dude,
Caribbean, man.
we need that, bro. We
But it's
need
the
that.
winter. It's all good. I'm
We need
surviving.
that. Right,
See,
right,
I'm
right,
light.
right.
I'm like almost like the color of this.
No, listen, all of us, man. Thank you. I
Yeah,
guess my bones might appreciate. I don't know. My bones appreciate the cold, maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to find
definitely
out the positives to this cold weather, but it's hard
fuck
when
that.
you're slipping on ice and can't feel your fingers when you're outside.
But all right, man. Love
Yeah, we
Ti.
just
We still on,
yeah.
right? We
Love to
still
everyone.
live.
Yeah, we still
Love
live
Ti,
for sure, man.
world. Love Ti. Love Ti, man. Appreciate y'all. Tune in, listen to this soon. Yeah, man. We'll see if we can hit y'all more with some spontaneous drinks.
Yeah, man. Peace, y'all.
Love. Thank you.